Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Chef Tina. For today, whilst I am rewriting my cookbook into my new notepad, which obviously has on it, "I'm a chef, what's your superpower?" Because obviously chefs are superheroes. We wear a different kind of cape. We wear an apron. But anyway, whilst I'm doing this, which I'm just about to write out a hot water pastry, which you can use for obviously predominantly pork pie, but obviously you can use it for any sort of savoury pie, anything like that. I thought I'd talk to you today about my amazing career. So I was sorry, my eye, and all the other. Basically, just my career and my education, and all the other stuff that goes into chefing as well today. So basically, I started off my life sort of like obviously in Warmington. I lived there for most of my life until the last 5-6 years, and I went to school in Oundle, and also obviously completing my what used to be GCSEs. I then went to Peterborough Regional College, which is where I started my training to be a chef. So I completed 2 years at Peterborough Regional College, and I did my level 1 City and Guilds training in hospitality and catering, professional cookery as well. And at that point, I was at college for 3 days a week, Wednesday to Friday. And throughout those days, I did, I believe it was two days of chefing and 1 day of out front. Front of house. So back then you used to do, I think it was 2 weeks in one sector, and you used to do 2 weeks in a different sector. So it always started with the main kitchen, depending on obviously what part you started in. But I started in the main kitchen, which was obviously a la carte. You catered for the restaurant. You had the OAPs who came in normally for lunchtime to try the food, and obviously come in and for someone to cook for, basically. And then for 1 day of that week, we did front of house, which is where we had to obviously dress very smartly in ties with aprons as well, where we learnt silver service, and also obviously normal table service, clearing tables, clearing down tables, also etiquette with cutlery. So, for example, part of silver service would be at the start serving someone a bread roll, and using a fork and spoon to obviously grab the bread roll and put it onto the customer's plate. And also, if the client was having a fish course or a fish starter main, we would replace their cutlery with fish cutlery, which would be a different style of cutlery compared to your normal fork and knife. But and then also a special tool, a bit like it's like a file which you use to scrape any breadcrumbs off the table, obviously after they have completed their main course. It's all things that I've never seen in any pub or restaurant around here anyway. It's more of a sort of like upmarket, probably London area sort of thing that they do that style and level of service. But so I did that for a year. Meanwhile, I started off at the Falcon Inn at Fotheringhay. I was there as a waiter for I think it was the first year. And then as I started getting more interested into cooking and wanting to be in the kitchen, I did eventually move into the kitchen, and I was there for a year. I did starters and desserts, which is where I sort of like found my main interest and passion, which was desserts. Made all our own bread there, made all our own desserts there, made everything from scratch. And yeah, the person who I used to work for was a lovely lady called Sally Facer. She was used to be the proprietor and the owner of the Falcon until I think it was almost about 10 years ago now. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it there. Brilliant team, fantastic. Yeah, just fantastic pub. It is now being run by two local people to the area that used to work at the Talbot Hotel. I believe it's called, head chef is called Zach, and they do a lot more sort of like upmarket food now. And they have won a lot of AA Rosettes, which is obviously fantastic, brilliant. But yes, that was my first year training as a chef. My second year, which is I still was at college, I did my level 2 professional cookery training, and obviously it was just a more involved course. Obviously it was the same sort of thing. You moved around into different areas of the college. You went from the normal a la carte kitchen. You then went into, well, there are 3 different kitchens, which I failed to mention at the start. You had the main cook kitchen, which served the restaurant, which on a Thursday night they opened for evening service. So you had the chance to cook for a evening dinner service one night a week. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people didn't show up. They just went home. They couldn't be bothered with it. But yes, and then there was obviously the restaurant, which is, you know, the front of house part of the training. And then in the other part of the college, you had 2 different production kitchens. So you had the meat prep meat prep and savoury kitchen. And then you had the pastry kitchen, which obviously I thoroughly enjoyed. So the pastry kitchen was obviously making the cakes, desserts, bread for the restaurant and for the cafe that was on site. And then the production kitchen, so the meat kitchen, that's where we prepped all the meat, prepped all the fish, and also cooked any savoury and meat products for, you know, the restaurant, cafe. But yes, second year, obviously it was just more involved training, and I am trained and what they call classically trained. So I learned basically all the classic ways of cooking. So from making your hollandaises to your beurre rosettes to a bechamel sauce, and for example, and you know, doing a braised pork belly or something like that. So I am classically trained in the art of culinary skills. I do have the book which they recommended to get, and that is the Repertoire de la Cuisine, which is a French repertoire book, which basically just tells you about all the different culinary terms and all the French culinary you know, translations for different types of food. But yeah, that is basically my training. But I then, whilst I was doing my level 2 at college, I started working at a place called the Tapping Kitchen in Oundle. It's a wonderful riverside bar and restaurant in the Oundle Wharf area of Oundle. It's a fantastic place, beautiful venue. I worked there for 4 years. Learned a lot. Whilst I was there, I started under the head chef Nigel Fish, very talented chef, fantastic person. I learned a lot of my dessert skills, and also got a lot of my recipes and ideas from him. He was a fantastic, just fantastic chef, very, very talented. Yeah, brilliant. So I was there for 4 years, and whilst I was there, I completed 2 years of a apprenticeship with a company called HIT Training. I completed my level 3 professional cookery, and also completed my level 3 hospitality and management whilst I was there as well. So I now know how to calculate, to do a menu pricing, to do a GP, and to also know how to cost effectively and to run and operate a kitchen. So obviously I've taken those skills into obviously my career, and yes, I was there for 4 years until October 2018, which is when I moved to the Montague Arms at Barnwell, which was my bestest just career ever. It was fantastic. So I was there for 7 years. I started off as a CDP, and I showed them basically, obviously, my skills and the fact that I'm very talented with my desserts. And obviously we changed and adapted the menu to put some nice dishes on, and yeah, since then just absolutely just blew away. Just my career just took off. Yeah, such a nice place to work, such a friendly atmosphere. The man who used to own the pub, Ian Simmons, one of the bestest bosses I could have ever worked for. It was just absolutely fantastic, so appreciative and so just dedicated to his staff, and so nice. And never ever find another boss like that, really, apart from the place I'm working now. But yeah, I was there for 7 years. I predominantly did desserts and starters. Obviously I mainly did the desserts, made myself a bit of a name at the Montague for my desserts and pastries. And yeah, I was always getting very good feedback on all my stuff. This is where I mainly did all my pastry work there. I've gone, from doing tiramisu, sticky toffee pudding, brownie. I think one of my signature dishes there was probably the, and I quote from the man himself, the better than Ian's tiramisu. And yeah, the head chef that used to be there was a person called Matt Medell. And yeah, again, fantastic head chef, brilliant chef. He really pushed me to just, really take food and just add to it and just make it as exceptional as possible. And yeah, absolutely highlight my career. Obviously, during my time there, we did hit what was the awful COVID-19. And during my time there, we obviously did the awful eat out the help out scheme that they rocked up. That was very interesting. But before all that, obviously we did the takeaways and lockdown. And when we actually discovered that obviously it wasn't very viable to do it, and really was a bit of a waste of time, we then basically renovated the pub. For quite a few months, I was not a chef, I was a builder. We built a car park, I done decorating, cleaning, carpentry, I pointed the outside wall of the pub, everything. Drove a digger. It's just, yeah, real good highlight. And also built a garden. So I've not just been a builder, I've been a builder, construction worker, chef, and a gardener. Monty Don, if you like. So yeah, that was good fun. But yeah, I think it was Oh God, last April, very sadly, Ian had decided to retire from the industry and put the pub on the market. And yeah, I stayed there for a few months and then decided to move on. It was the best choice for myself and for my career. And I moved on to where I am now, and that is the Woolpacking at Islip, the award-winning Woolpacking at Islip. If you look at their Facebook, we are being nominated for quite a few outstanding rewards at the minute, and it is an absolutely exceptional pub. Located just on the other side of Thrapston's main town bridge that goes into Islip, and you can literally see it as you're coming over the bridge. Absolutely gorgeous location, especially in the summer. I mean, I'm not experienced the summer at the Woolpack yet, but I have been quoted and told that we could be looking up to 400 cover weekends and even more than that, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But yet again, I'm going there and doing what I love, just making exceptional food, doing my desserts, and just absolutely loving it. We're loving it like this. So yes, absolutely loving it. And that is basically where my career has got to at the minute. I mean, I've done things over the time. I did try to launch my own little business. It was called Clara's Bakery. It is still on Instagram. I've been meaning to take it off. Yeah, Clara's Bakery is a little side venture that I tried to do during sort of like just coming out of COVID, and also, you know, times are hard and we needed extra money. So, you know, through the whole financial crisis and the fuel crisis and the energy crisis, just to try and obviously make life a little bit easier to get in some extra money. But yeah, that was very sort of successful. We did a couple of sort of like events. We did Fern and Feast, and we also did the Thrapston Beer Festival, which didn't go too badly. But I think just due to the fact with the competition in the area, and also that you know, obviously it wasn't an established business with like a shop and everything. It was hard to get that reputation and get my skills across to the area to, you know, tell people that, you know, what I do is good. So at some point I would like to say the next 10 years, I would really love to open a little shop, a little cafe, bakery, and just do what I really, really love and make a living for myself and for my family, and to support myself and my family. And I think, you know, being a business owner is very, very hard, especially in this current climate. But I would like to think with the right reputation, which I have, sky is the limit, you know. So yeah, that is my ambition in life, and that is to own my own little bakery business, and to yeah, just boost my career, which is also the reason why I'm doing this channel. Try and get my name out there a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to carry on doing this. Thank you so much for listening. See you again very soon.